twiddles play with an inverted racket, meaning regular rubber on both sides. I mean, it was shocking. I was like, Richard Gonzalez is an incredible player. What's happening here? And I later found out he didn't have his racket, didn't have a spare.
Someone at my club's actually played a whole game in a best of 5, the first game, realizing they were using someone else's bat.
So coin toss here just to determine serve. Kristian Karlsson chooses serve. Dave McBeath chooses right side of the table. In the commentary booth, joining me for conversation and good times, Fraser Riley. Fraser, what's happening?
Alan, it's great to be here.
Thanks, I like that. And now we're even.
No, seriously, really excited for this game. Kristian Karlsson here, K2. Explosive power. What a win he had this season against Dartau.
When it hits the net,
real quick.
It's not tight. It's very loose.
Well, Schellberg made this point at the start of the last match.
We'll take a quick look. The conversation's so interesting right now. First time meeting these two. 15 years of pro, Kristian Karlsson. Also, that's the same number for his highest world ranking. Quite impressive. But as you can read everything on screen, the lefty Kristian Karlsson there, with a sort of fun look actually, eyebrows raised there. He's saying, look, we need to get this net tighter. So the deputy referee, Tina Krota, is Tina Krota. Yeah, as you mentioned, Anton Schellberg said it before, the first point against Liam Pitchford, the ball dropped over the net. Kristian Karlsson said, we see the net shaking for 3 seconds after it's been hit. It's not how it normally goes.
You can use this one.
No. This is fine. It's fine. It's thank you.
We mentioned the characters.
This is interesting.
On this table.
Give me your
Yeah, put one more down.
The facial expression I had just now is that emoji where you can see all the teeth at once, but it's not a smile.
Like this one.
That's the one.
Not that anyone back home watching this can see that face, but
we've both done it now in the last 30 seconds. So that dangly thing there is the net measurer. A lot of players keep one in their racket case just in case. And by a lot of players, I mean, I do, but probably others as well. But the players know quite well how tight a net should be. The whole point of keeping it tight is so that if the ball hits the net, it stays in play. David McBeath knows this at 30 years old. World rank 390 at the moment. Interesting to see. But again, it's a tough year in terms of participation. You know, we've had less events than others. So, players similar in age. But yeah, Kristian Karlsson, despite this being their first time meeting, will be the favorite in this match. It'll be work cut out for Dave McBeath. Mu Chuen Lei there, our umpire for the match. So during the warm-up here, after everything's been squared away with the net, players will be getting used to the first table here. The lighting and everything else, the atmosphere in the room, shaking out the nerves a bit. Now, I'll be curious to hear your thoughts. We've all seen, table tennis fans have seen the bloody and quite heartbreaking moment for Kristian Karlsson versus Darko Jorgic at the European Championships, where he caught his hand on the back edge of the table and had a pretty serious injury there, couldn't continue. How do you think that'll affect his play today?
it's a very, very good question. I think he'll definitely have a deeper sense of determination since that's happened. And I think he'll know that he has more to give than what he hasn't been able to show due to misfortune.
Interestingly enough, first point, a gift to his opponent, Dave McBeath. But a good serve to follow to even things out. Remember, this is a best-of-5 match, first player to win 3 games, so upset's a bit more likely than in a best-of-7. Ooh. Interestingly enough, the net tighter now. It didn't seem to wobble too much after being hit, but that ball dropped just over.
I'm just glad that Kristian Karlsson was able to stand
2-all.
on the podium at the end of that tournament, because he really deserved to. Beating both the LeBrun brothers, you know, is some feat.
I did ask Kristian Karlsson. I ran into him at the airport in Singapore on the way here, and he said, well, I said, how you doing? He said, so-so. As if to say, not back to 100. Obviously, he's here, and if Matthias Falk is on the bench, I mean, in good form, then Kristian Karlsson must be quite strong. But I think after seeing him against Andre Gacina earlier in the year in Qatar, and then against Darko Jorgic, the world is looking forward to K2.
Yeah.
Being back fully at his best.
It looked more of a surface injury than a deep muscle or bone injury, you know, so.
Right. Somewhere in between, we'll see here. So now, 3 points between them. Ooh, good length on that reverse pendulum serve.
Yeah, the strengths of Dave McBeath,
5-3.
from someone who goes to the university where the senior England men's setup is, the University of Nottingham. His strengths are definitely that reverse pendulum serve, and he has nice flick skills as well.
Little reminder there on screen, Sweden and England, one game or one match rather apiece. So they're tied up. This is to determine who takes the lead. Well, they've both had their share now of nets dribbling over.
4-6.
A lot of factors that can determine how tight a net is and how tight it can be. It is a bit peculiar, though, that the net balls have all dropped so short so far.
5-6.
Sam Walker there, an instrumental part of the 2016 bronze medalists from England.
Net.
It's the second time in 2 days we've seen that, the player calling it before the ump.
Almost unplayable power, that forehand, isn't it, when he comes through?
5.
He's a very physically imposing man, Kristian Karlsson. It's funny, standing next to Matthias Falk a lot of the time, you wouldn't know this, but he's actually quite tall. I'd guess around 183 centimeters, 182 at shortest. So a little bit, say 6 feet.
Yeah. Don't see so many better flicks than that. Play from the forehand side too.
Now here's a question for you. Dave McBeath here. You imagine as the underdog is going to have to take some bold chances out here?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. Dave McBeath's training predominantly comes within the England team against Pitchford, against Drinkall, against Tom Jarvis. And he does play sometimes in the camps where England go over to different countries to train. He's beaten Maharu Yoshimura, and that's his best career win. But I think it's fair that Kristian Karlsson being slightly the more decorated of the two players, maybe not in terms of ITTF or WTT titles, but world events, this would be his best win.
And in terms of ITTF or WTT titles, I mean, Kristian Karlsson, you know, world champion last year in men's doubles with Matthias Falk. So, I mean, you are looking at a world champion in yellow.
Yeah.
Not just any world champion, but a defending world champion, a standing world champion.
Yeah. What I meant by that was Maharu Yoshimura's won a few on the circuit.
Oh, Maharu.
But obviously Kristian Karlsson has taken world titles, which is just amazing, repeating history for Sweden.
9-8.
Doing well here in the first game.
Yeah, really tight battle here. It's been back and forth, but Kristian Karlsson up by 1. Well, now withstands the blow of that big opening forehand and earns himself a chance. When someone takes that big of a swing and the ball comes back quickly, right here, he's still recovering from the shot before, so it's a weaker backhand to follow, and mcbeath takes advantage of that. Heavy spin with mcbeath a step behind the table. It's K2 with the softer spin shot to set up a game point.
These are the moments where Kristian Karlsson is the more experienced of the two players in these tight, high-pressure moments, especially representing the team.
And there it is. A little bit of touch in near the net, a little fortune for Kristian Karlsson, but he's there to take advantage of the opportunity. So the big inside-out forehand, the brushing shot, and Kristian Karlsson with game one on the scoreboard, but it has not been easy, not so far. 11-9 by the narrowest of margins. Sweden's Kristian Karlsson leading 1-0. Dave mcbeath has his work cut out for him.
Hacken är ju också, den hacken är varit bra. Sidan, vi kan ju inte få vara med på, han gick in och någon backhandflip där. Så kika där lite. Ja, var bra den långa också ju. Ja, med sen.
Försök klippa han bara vill bara ta tillbaka den liksom. Var jävligt stark. Han bara en stenhåll liksom. Ja.
You're in it. You're on one leg and you're in it. So just go for it. One hit wonder. Come on, Dave. Let's go.
There was Sam Walker, need more of Sam Sitter for that moment. Little conversation saying, just go for it. You're right there, you're in it. Take your chances. So game two, Dave mcbeath on screen for England, battling against Kristian Karlsson. Testing the tension there in the arena, not just the net. At least for his teammates. A lot of matches going on at this moment. Good serve. We've seen a few fast, long serves from that reverse pendulum setup.
Right. Has to be good as well into the forehand. Kristian Karlsson. See if he goes for that again or if he changes the placement. Half long into the middle. K2 can't get in his mountainous forehand.
Anything this man can do to keep Kristian Karlsson uncomfortable on the attack will be to his advantage. And surprise, long push, very, I'd say, intentional and well placed.
Right, you feel like Kristian Karlsson's first three balls are such good quality. You have to yourself match that. Dave mcbeath has to have a lot of oomph, even in the pushes, even in the touches. There has to be quality on them.
And here, instead of going for the heat, slows it down, keeps it low to the net and spinning. He's keeping Kristian Karlsson guessing right now.
Not an easy thing to keep a Viking at bay.
So while he's got 80% of the points so far, Dave mcbeath, still it's early in the game with the experience of Kristian Karlsson, the results in the last few years, anything could happen. This one sits up too high, it's a bit of a free space on the bingo card.
Right. Incredible arm speed, Kristian Karlsson. Can really feel the impact of his shots. He's one of those players. It's a very good and intimidating table presence.
Kristian Karlsson, intimidating since 2014. Maybe before, I just remember the 2014 Korea Open. I was like, man, this guy's got power. I think he played the semifinals at the Korea Open in 2014.
They played Stefan Weiss in that tournament, and there was a rally of Stefan Weiss chopping.
And spinning 3 times. He did
Is that the same
360s.
tournament?
I believe it is, yeah.
Oh, I think that might have been the breakthrough tournament I saw of Kristian karlsson as well.
Here, pulling a Timo Bull, little Borussia Dusseldorf sort of stretch there to open up the breathing. Service warning.
Not vertical.
An absolute seesaw here.
You toss, not vertical.
So Dave McBeath was asking for clarity. He said forwards, backwards. Which direction was it not vertical? Because he felt that it was fairly vertical. Most commonly in table tennis, the serve is not vertical into the body or sometimes back from the table, like Quadriaruna, throwing it away from the table. And it's just a question of margins.
Must be more spring in the step here of Kristian karlsson. Obviously because Dave McBeath hasn't played so many international tournaments, not a player that's so easy to study because there's not a lot of information out there about him.
Beautiful forehand flick, a very powerful shot, and it's tough because you're pretty much in the air when you hit that.
Yeah, tough shot to play. 7 points in a row here for Kristian karlsson.
When you think about times for a timeout, when someone's up 4-0, maybe 4-3, something like that, they're already down a game after such a streak. But remember, there's only one person on the bench right now for England. Liam Pitchford going for a little walk, might be getting into the practice hall for a bit or using the restroom. Second towel break, Dave McBeath down by 4.
This is tough. First 4 points he played absolutely perfectly, but he's doing the same things again. It's just that Kristian karlsson's quality, especially down the line, has been really, really good. Up the ante.
And now 6 game points for Kristian karlsson of Sweden to get that second game on the scoreboard in this individual match. Again, Kristian karlsson, the strong favorite. That said, Dave McBeath putting up a strong fight in game 1. Letting the world know, fans in England, that anything is possible. Ooh, short side of the table, full commitment on that step around, and karlsson's starting to look a bit more confident and smooth. How many in a row?
11, I believe.
Yeah, he was down 0-4 and wins 11-4. An 11-point streak to win the game, and Kristian karlsson not being phased at all by the start of his opponent. A dominant performance. Kristian karlsson with momentum like nobody's business. And game number 3, Dave McBeath's last chance to extend the match.
Men du är aldrig hård på den heller. Du vet. Sen har du haft bra utdelning på din serve också. Jag fortsätter. Okej? Passa på. Bra värdering. Kör vi. Bra kille. Yeah. Just try and put some pressure on him first of all. Come on, come on, Dave. Come on.
Sweden to serve, Lowell.
Players back to the table for game number 3. Kristian karlsson having won 11 points in a row, the last 11 points. And he continues his streak.
Even though there's obviously a difference in level between the two players, to still win 12 points in a row. 13. Just crazy, absolutely crazy.
That said, I mean, we see it both ways in some senses. We've seen players, I think that my favorite example, and this might be favorite, oh no, Stefan Fagel loses game 1 11-0 to Fan Zhendong and comes back to win the next 2 games.
Polish Open, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That said, Kristian karlsson has not been stopped yet. 14 potentially counting here. Excellent length on the serve, shuts down. I mean, this is what a half-long serve is all about. If it's fast, low to the net, and you've got the receiver guessing, don't you wonder what he said? Look at that smirk. He turned and said, "Son," I don't know if he said that might be the only one I get, but I mean, after last game, good time to celebrate the positive moment. That point there.
No doubt there was some dry British banter.
Yes, I was gonna say, having a few meals with these guys, they're quite witty blokes indeed.
Yep.
So the first towel break here. We've got 16 of the last 17 points favoring Kristian karlsson. Just a reminder, coming up next would be Liam Pitchford, or will be Liam Pitchford and Truls Morgaard. Two of the great threats to the Chinese domination, or at least players who China knows are capable of pulling off some occasional victories. It's probably a better way to say it.
Yeah.
The reality is there are few players in the world that are consistently beating any of the top 5 from China, but that inside-out forehand, the step around, I mean, there's a determination, just sort of the confidence now that we see from Kristian karlsson that wasn't there in game 1.
Such a pretty shot, but yeah, Truls.
1-6.
Pitchford and... I mean, there's a lot of players on this table. I said Truls, karlsson, Pitchford, Schellberg, Falk, they'll all be on that famous board within the Chinese national team center.
And look at this stat, 15 of the last 16 points for Kristian karlsson. Service warning.
Not vertical, your toss.
Your toss is not vertical. Consistent. The umpire has been quite consistent on that call.
Less topspin on there than David McBeath anticipated.
33, that was the number of degrees. It can be no more than 33 degrees off of perfectly vertical. They only created that number for the challenge system. So a little fight here.
2-9.
I was gonna say, if we saw another point for Kristian karlsson, we might see an exhibition. But there will be no exhibition. Dave McBeath will fight, and in a team event, it's much more rare to see an exhibition. Good push, you might say a floater, something with less underspin on it than appeared.
Yeah, definitely. Be interested to see if there is an exhibition, if Kristian karlsson especially wins this point. Let's see.
So good deception on the serve. It is now 7 game and match points for Kristian karlsson to set Sweden up with a 2-1 lead over England. Ooh, chop block.
Just too pretty.
4-10.
His best shot of the match comes at that point.
And a break off the net. It is Kristian karlsson acknowledging the fortune and saying, good match. Thank you to the opponents, but he has secured the match here. And the Swedes in the lead. It is 2-1 over England. Coming up next, we've got a lot to look forward to with some thrilling players. Dave McBeath came out, gave a very commendable fight from the start. A lot of questions.